In this video, I'm going to go through all the modifications that we've done to our 2001 Ford E450. So this is a box truck, and this one has the longer bed. So it's got a 16-foot bed on it. So before I get started, we are going to do a giveaway either at the end of January or the end of February. I think most likely it's going to be at the end of February because it looks like January is going to be pretty busy. So stay tuned for that, and go ahead and comment below what you would like to have for a giveaway. I'm thinking we're going to probably do a whole set 62mm turbo because that seems to be one of our best sellers. So for now, I'm going to get started with the video, and if you're wanting to do or want to give some ideas for the giveaway, you can comment those below in the comment section. So I have a list here to go by. First things I'm going to talk about is the modifications to the motor, mainly that give it more horsepower. We did the turbo upgrade that I've shown in our videos. So we have a 4-inch anti-surge compressor housing with a 67mm compressor wheel, and the turbine is a 69.8mm turbine. That's the smaller measurement, so the exducer is a little bit bigger, and it has a 1.15 turbine housing. That is what this truck originally comes with. So if you want the biggest turbo available for the 7.3 Powerstroke, it comes on the E450 originally, but you can modify that turbo to make it even bigger, which is what we've done. I have a couple videos that talk about that, so you can always search the other videos that we have. We also did the PHP Hydra tune. It's a tune that comes with the chip, and you have other tunes that you can download. So we did that. We've got the 140 horsepower tune on there. We rebuilt the fuel injectors, put a rebuilt IDM on it, and we have the Terminator high pressure oil pump on there. We put an aluminum radiator on this because the original one was starting to crack. Ian got this radiator off eBay. I really don't think the quality is that great, but it doesn't leak, so that's good. This truck originally did not have air conditioning working. The reason that caused that was this piece was hanging down and not strapped up. I ended up getting the bolt out of there, fastening it back like it was supposed to. What happened was the original line rubbed a hole in it from this piece laying down on the air conditioning line. So I ended up replacing those lines. The air conditioning works great in this truck now. And then for some reason the clutch started having problems. However, you see it's messed up and missing pieces, but the air conditioning still works surprisingly. And so where I did the high pressure, I did hydraulic hoses to replace the fuel lines. The fuel lines are really just terrible design on this truck, so I replaced those with high pressure fuel or hydraulic hoses, and doing that cost me about $80. So if you wanted to get upgraded fuel lines, you'll notice that companies do sell them, but they want like $600 for those. So I just went to the local Napa store and had those made, and we made them work. So here's one of our new fuel lines right there. You can see it's a lot bigger, so it will supply more fuel to the heads because the size is bigger. I guess they're about 1/2 inch now, either 1/2 or 3/8. We did a K&N air filter, and that runs to our turbo upgrade. We put a new alternator on there, new water pump, new thermostat. We ended up I've already replaced the water pump and thermostat twice. I guess mainly you're probably going to buy a bunch of cheap quality parts that don't work if you search on eBay, because that's kind of what we ran into. So I ended up getting buying these parts again from the local auto parts store, Advanced Auto Parts. So these actually have a warranty on them. Ian and I did rebuild the engine in this. I don't know how long you've been following, but we did have a couple videos that talked about our engine rebuild on this motor. And we put 2 Optima batteries in it that are the yellow tops. We have changed out the headlights to LED headlights. These work so much better than the factory headlights that were in there. cosmetics and stuff. So we did the Iron Cross front bumper. Really expensive bumper, but it looks so much more aggressive, high quality, and functional. So we put the winch on there. That's a 13,000 pound winch. I've had a couple times where we've had issues with this winch, but we've fixed the problems that we had. Mainly one of the problems was we wound it out too much and it came apart. Maybe that's common. Another issue I've had is I think one of these rollers got jammed or something had happened. I can't really remember. And then this piece had broke at one point. See, we replaced this. I think it was like aluminum. So we ended up replacing this piece with a solid piece of steel that we got at Tractor Supply. We drilled and tapped so that we could make our own bar there. That's just solid steel. So that's how we fixed the winch when it broke. I've replaced the brake master cylinder because it had a problem. The brakes were not working correctly. We've bled them multiple times. Eventually we finally fixed the problems with the brakes by replacing that. In this one we put the stage 2 transmission in it. The transmission went bad in about 3,000 miles or less after driving it with the upgraded tune. Transmissions in these trucks just aren't very strong and durable, but doing the stage 2 transmission is supposed to give it capability of up to towing 30,000 pounds, which I probably will never see that in this truck. I mainly just needed it for capacity. So it's got 4 wheels on the back. So it's basically a dually, and I guess you could say it's an extended frame. This truck weighs a little bit over 10,000 pounds. I think it probably weighs less than 10,000 pounds without the box on it. The reason I say that is because you can get a tax credit if you have a truck that weighs less than a certain amount of weight. And we were able to get a tax credit because we owned a diesel that weighs less than the limit that they allow you to get the tax credit for. So when we bought this truck, we just basically did everything that we needed to do as far as maintenance goes. So this thing has all new tires, all 6 new tires. It has a spare tire right there, which we mounted in when it wasn't mounted when we bought it. It's got the ramp. We installed a backup camera here and a backup camera here. Inside we have LED cargo lights that we installed and one LED in the center. I need to get a knob for this. You can see they're all LEDs. I put this door here, so I made this door out of some extra wood we had laying around, bought some hinges and some door handles at the local store so that I could lock this door in between the cab and the bed. So originally, when I bought this, there was no door here. So I put that door here just to be able, well, it cuts out a lot of the noise for one, and you can keep your air conditioning inside the cab without having to air conditioning the cargo area. The door locks on the inside of the vehicle. You'll see that there's lights on the top of the truck there. All those we converted to LED lights. I think the back ones are just factory. The door is kind of looking a little bit rough. I'd say it probably needs to be replaced because it's breaking internally. The hinges are breaking off and stuff. We have one mud flap because one fell off. We put these towing mirrors on there. These we got off eBay. Good and bad. They're cheap. The bad is that this side, the mirror, just you have to move it every time you drive it, or multiple times when you drive it. So if you ever see me driving this, I'll be rolling the window down to adjust my mirror because the wind just knocks it out of place. So I really need something to stabilize those mirrors. These mirrors have been on here about 2 years. For some reason they stain kind of weird. I feel like I could probably bring that back to life a little bit. They are more durable than the factory mirrors, despite the issues that I've had with these. The factory mirrors are just terrible. So here's our backup camera. Here's the Hydra tune. This is a switch that I put on here just for the backup camera, so I could turn it off or on at any time that I want to. Here's the door. I put this as a spacer here so I could latch it and unlatch it anytime I want. I've got a handle here and a handle on the other side. I also ran a gasket all the way around so that it keeps it cool or hot in here, depending on what you want. This is the light bar switch, so you can just turn it on or turn it off anytime that you want. So that's the light bar. We've went through this truck and replaced pretty much everything that I can possibly think of. We also replaced the struts, all the control arms, and we also replaced all the brakes, the brake calipers, the brake rotors, the wheel bearings. So we've completely redone this truck, mainly just to have something affordable and, well, something more reliable than affordable, I would say. Because actually, I really should step down to a cargo van, because I really don't need a truck this big right now. But if I ever do need it, then it's nice to have.